The 2017 draft class was filled with a ton of hype and expectations, and while some players lived up to it, others, they still haven't. It's been one of the more polarizing classes in recent history, and also one with a ton of media coverage for many players. You had LeVar Ball going on and on about, how great Lonzo was during his rookie year. You had that notorious Markelle Fultz for Jason Tatum trade. You had Donovan Mitchell coming out of nowhere and becoming the primary scorer for the Jazz. De'Aaron Fox now looking like a legit franchise point guard. DSJ getting traded. We've heard and talked about all this stuff all year. But in this video, we're not going to talk about all those players who we've been talking about already. This time, we're going to take a look at the overlooked players from the 2017 draft class, and these guys have played incredibly well in their sophomore seasons, yet not as many fans are recognizing their success. Believe it or not, the 2017 draft class is extremely deep and talented. This video is sponsored by Ridge Wallets. The Ridge Wallet is a minimal, front pocket wallet that's designed to let you ditch your bulky wallet. This wallet is slim, RFID blocking, and lifetime guaranteed. It comes in titanium, carbon fiber, aluminum, polycarbonate, and with over a dozen different styles and colors. Get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping by going to ridgewallet.com/Andy. Alright, let's get started. Number 8. Jonathan Isaac. Yes, I am aware that Jonathan Isaac was the 4th overall pick of the 2017 draft, so it might seem kinda weird to say that he's been overlooked. But out of all the top 10 picks that year, Isaac has had the least amount of media coverage, the least amount of discussion, and frankly, many fans don't even know what the hell he's doing. Well, he's been doing very well. After an injury-riddled rookie season, he's starting to show why he was the number 4 pick. Isaac has played over 70 games in his sophomore year and averaged nearly 10 points and about 5 rebounds and a block a game. Defensively, he's a stud, and while his offense is still a work in progress, the Magic's offensive rating is still plus 3.3 whenever he's on the floor. That's pretty good considering that the Magic are only 22nd in the league in offensive rating as a team. Things like his 3-point shots, his ball handling skills, he still needs to work on that stuff, but it's getting there and he's been much more confident in taking threes recently. Number 7. Thomas Bryant. The Wizards had quite a turbulent season. Nothing went right for them and they blew up part of their team. The questions surrounding them over the summer will be quite interesting. But Thomas Bryant, the 42nd pick of the 2017 draft, this guy has been amazing. He's playing the role that the Wizards thought Dwight Howard would be playing, and Bryant has even earned a spot in the starting lineup. For the season, he averaged about 10 points and 6 rebounds, but his ability to finish at the rim is amazing. He converted on 82% of his shots between 0 and 3 feet. Even for centers, that's pretty impressive, let alone for a sophomore player who got drafted so late. For comparison, Clint Capella only converts on 75% of his shots there. Bryant has quickly become a great pick-and-roll duo with Beal and every other guard on the team. He's the guy who the Wizards needed in the past few years, a young, energetic big man who plays his heart out. If Wall didn't get injured, the Wizards season would have looked very different. I can see Bryant becoming the permanent starting center for their future. Number 6. Jarrett Allen. Allen has arguably been the second most important player on the Brooklyn Nets. It's incredible how the Nets basically had no high draft picks and relied solely on late first-rounders and second-round picks to rebuild their team. Jarrett Allen was a late first-round pick, and it's impressive that they were able to get back into the playoffs so quickly. While he isn't the flashiest player, he anchors the Nets' defense and has great chemistry with D'Angelo Russell in the pick-and-roll. He's also fearless when it comes to protecting the rim, which is why he has so many ridiculous blocks, but also why he gets posterized more often. In his rookie season, he was good and drew some attention, but the Nets were really bad, so it didn't really matter. Now, after his sophomore year, fans and players around the league are starting to realize that he's a legit player. He's averaging about 11 points and 8 rebounds a game, over a block a game too. He's for sure the franchise center of this team moving forward and a great fit with the team's culture. Number 5. Bam Adebayo. Bam is a guy who we definitely paid attention to him in his rookie season, but now, after his sophomore year, the hype has kinda died down. However, he's improved in every aspect of the game, and he's actually second on his whole team in win shares per 48 minutes, only behind Hassan Whiteside. Bam also has the best individual offensive rating on the team with 120, way higher than any of his teammates. He put up a stat line of about 9 points, 7 rebounds, over 2 assists, nearly a block and a steal, all of this in 23 minutes a game, and with one of the lowest usage rates on the team. That's incredibly efficient. Pretty much every time he touches the ball, he does something good. Bam's passing has taken a huge step forward as well. He was always an underrated passer, even as a rookie. Additionally, his jump shot has gotten so much better. He still doesn't shoot that many, but when he does, he's hitting nearly 40% of his mid-range shots. I think coming into the NBA, many of us assumed that Bam would be, like one of those centers who just catches lobs all day and only score by dunking. But that's not true at all, and he's certainly proved he's much more than that. At the end of the season, Bam got inserted into the starting lineup and became the starting center instead of Hassan Whiteside. I don't know if this is going to be a permanent decision, but it should be. I mean, Whiteside is a good player, but he already peaked, and Bam is on the upswing with all the potential in the world. Number 4, Monta Morris. The Denver Nuggets had a phenomenal regular season, and sophomore Monta Morris was a huge part of their success. If you didn't know, the Nuggets suffered a ton of injuries throughout the year, and their actual starting lineup played fewer than 30 games together. With the injuries to Gary Harris and Will Barton, they needed somebody to step up, somebody to take on the playmaking duties and to shoot and play off the ball. Monta Morris answered the call. He's a combo guard who filled in those gaps. In fact, remember when the Nuggets signed Isaiah Thomas? They were expecting Isaiah to be the backup point guard and lead the bench, or at least that's what he was supposed to do when he came back from injury. But even after coming back from injury and being 100% healthy, Coach Mike Malone still prefers to play Monta Morris over Isaiah. That was a great decision too, because honestly, Isaiah looks nothing like his former self. When he's played, he's been underwhelming, and I don't think he's ever gonna return back to form, despite him saying that he would. For the season, Monta averaged over 10 points, nearly 4 assists, and shot 41% from 3. His defense, though, it's questionable at best, but offensively, he's got all the tools to run an offense and play within Denver's system. A great complement with Jokic and Jamal Murray. His quickness and his agility allow him to relentlessly attack the rim and provide a spark that Denver has relied on all season. And from the looks of it, he is going to be a part of the team's future. Maybe not a starter, but definitely a key bench player. Number 3, Derrick White. A long time ago, I made a video about Derrick White. It was within the first few months I started YouTube. I made that video before he played a single game for the Spurs, and I basically talked about how he could become a very good player for them. The Spurs do pretty well with their lower draft picks, and White was the guy who could take over once Tony Parker retires or he leaves. It turns out, for once, my predictions are correct. In his sophomore year, White averaged 10 points, nearly 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and looks like everything I thought he would be. White is now a legit starting point guard with a great all-around game. He can shoot, although he's not spectacular, he could defend really well, he's a good playmaker and passer. To be honest, he got this opportunity in the first place because DeJounte Murray got injured. If Murray wasn't injured, White would have still been stuck on the bench, probably playing as his backup. But he took this opportunity and ran with it, and now everyone knows he's an NBA caliber player. But despite an excellent sophomore year, there's no guarantees he's gonna be their starting point guard moving forward. I mean, DeJounte Murray was showing a lot of promise and he's younger, and considering they have DeMar DeRozan, it's not plausible to run White as the shooting guard. This is all speculation though, and White could very well remain as a starter in the future. Number 2, Lowry Markin. Now, I know Lowry got a good amount of coverage in his rookie season, but nowadays, during most of his sophomore season, he hasn't really gotten that much hype. And after getting diagnosed with some issues with a rapid heart rate and fatigue, that's kinda scary. He only played in 52 games and got shut down for the remainder of the season. But with that being said, in those 52 games, he was amazing. He averaged about 19 points and 9 rebounds a game, shooting over 6 threes a game. From the eye test, it didn't look like he added anything significant to his game, and he still doesn't finish at the rim nearly as well as fans have hoped. He essentially put up more points on more shots, but also maintained his efficiency, so that's a good sign. Markkanen had some great moments at the beginning of the season, but since the Chicago Bulls were really bad, there wasn't much to be proud of. Looking towards the future, Markkanen has to expand his game, especially trying to get more shots at the rim. Right now, barely 1/5 of his total field goal attempts come at the rim, and for a 7-footer, that's kinda bad. I know shooting is his niche, and that's why people compared him to Dirk on draft night, but he still has a long way to go before that comparison is valid. And number 1, John Collins. Collins had an incredible sophomore year. While most people have been paying attention to Trae Young, which is obvious, Collins quietly put up nearly a 2010 stat line. He nearly doubled his scoring output from his rookie season, and even as a rookie, he was already pretty good. On top of that, he also somewhat developed a three-point shot. It's not great, he's shooting about 35% on about 3 attempts a game, but it's an option now. That was something that many defenders were doing during his rookie year. They would just leave him alone at the three-point line. But now they can't do that. It's kind of funny because if you only follow the Hawks casually, you'd probably think that Trae Young was the leading scorer on the team. Because it seems like every other day he's in the news, he scored 30 points or whatever, dished out 10 assists, all that jazz. But Collins, with his 19.5 points a game, led the entire team in scoring for the season. Now, he did have a plethora of different injuries and illnesses, bronchitis, the flu, an ankle injury, all of which caused him to only play 60 games. And overall, the Hawks, just like the Bulls, they haven't been good, so he hasn't gotten much recognition. That will definitely change in the future, and Collins is set to become their franchise power forward. And that's all folks, those were 7 players drafted in 2017 who've had very good seasons, but haven't gotten the recognition they deserve. Obviously, some players are more popular than others, but there's a few on the list who got literally no media coverage whatsoever, even though they've outperformed even the more popular players. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Let me know any other sophomores who you think should have been on this list. I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Peace.